Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bodice. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to draft a basic bodice pattern. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please keep on watching and let's get started. So guys, you will need the following for this tutorial: your paper, your ruler, your curve rule, your tape measure, your marker, and your pen. Now, the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to just draw a straight line across, which will serve as my shoulder line. So from the shoulder line, I measure down to my bust point, which is 10 inches. I'm going to make a mark here. And also, I'm going to come down to my under bust, which is 13.5 inches for me. And as you can see, I just mark it. Now, for this particular pattern, you will need to take your shoulder to waist measurement for both the front and the back separately. So my shoulder to waist in front is 16 inches, then I mark it. So now you're going to determine how long you want your blouse to be. For me, I'm going to be using 24 inches. After that, I'm going to draw a straight line across those points and label those lines. So the bust line, the under bust line, the waistline, the hemline, and then the shoulder line. So guys, on the shoulder line, I'm going to divide my shoulder measurement into 2 equal halves, which will give me 7.5 inches, and then I mark it. Now from this point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. So after doing that, from the shoulder line again, I came in by 3 inches for the neck width, and I'm coming down by 3 inches as well for the neck depth. And then I'm going to use my curve rule to create a round neckline. This is just a basic neckline. So guys, after connecting the neckline, I'm just going to connect a slant line from the shoulder line to meet that 1 inch point just to get the shoulder slope. The next thing is to look for our armhole depth. How I normally do this is to divide my bust measurement by 6, and whatever I add 1.5 inches to it. So when I did that, I got 7.6 inches for mine. So from the shoulder slope, I'm going to come down by that 7.6 inches, and then I made a point and rule a straight line to meet the shoulder slope. After that, I'm going to rule a straight line across, and I'm going to label it as the chest line. So now I'm going to divide the measurements I have here into 2 equal halves and made a point. And from this point, I'm going to go in by half of an inch. And on the chest line, what you're going to do is to divide your bust measurement by 4 and made a point there. So my bust measurement divided by 4, I use that to make a point on the chest line. Now I'm going to be using my curve rule to connect the top of the armhole, the midpoint we got, and then the point we have on the chest line. So just go ahead and do the same thing you see me doing like this. The next thing I want to do is to draw out our dart. So you're going to divide your nipple to nipple measurement into 2. And for me, that divided into 2 is 3.5 inches. So I'm marking that 3.5 inches on the bust line, under bust line, and on the hemline. And I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect all the points. Now we are going to take in our darts. So on the waistline here, I'm going to go in by 0.75 on the both sides of this line. You can take 1 inch on both sides if you are very busty, but for me, I normally use 0.75 and sometimes I use half an inch on the both sides. After that, from the waistline, you're going to come down by 5 inches or you go down by 6 inches if you are very tall. Now I'm going to connect these 3 points together. From the dart leg, I'm going to connect a straight line towards the waistline and the bust point. I will do the same thing on the other side as well. The next thing I want to do now is to start adding our body measurement. So on the chest line, you're going to divide your bust measurement into 4 and make a point there. Now on the waistline, you're going to divide your waist measurement into 4 and make a point. Then you're going to measure the dart intake you have here, which is 1.5 inches, and then you're going to replace it back. From that point I made earlier, I'm going to mark it here. Now on the hemline, you're going to divide your hip measurement by 4 and you're going to mark it there. So now I'm going to connect all these points together. So from the chest line here, I'm going to connect to the waistline, and then from the waistline, I will connect to meet the hemline. So go ahead and do the same thing. So this is what mine look like. I have a very tiny curve, and if you are very curvy, you notice that the curve actually shows as well. Now what I want to do is I'm going to be having a side dart on this front pattern, and how to get that. Remember I told you guys earlier that you need to take your shoulder to waist measurement for both the front and the back separately. So my shoulder to waist in front is 16 inches. While my shoulder to waist at the back is 14.5 inches. So we're going to subtract 14.5 inches from 16 inches, and what I add is 1.5 inches. So from the bust line, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches, which is the difference between my shoulder to waist in front and my shoulder to waist at the back. So now I'm going to connect from this point into the bust line. So this space I just created is going to be my bust dart. So now you're going to divide the measurements you have here into 2 and then come out by 1 inch here and connect it just the way you see me doing. So this is basically all for the drafting of the front pattern. I'm going to go ahead and cut this pattern right here, and then we'll go ahead and draft out the back pattern.
The storms we chase are leading us The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands.
To draft the back pattern, you will need another piece of pattern paper, as you can see here. So just like I did in front, I'm going to draw a straight line across again, which will serve as my shoulder line. So I'm marking 1.5 inches for my zipper allowance, and then I draw a straight line across. From the shoulder, I came down to my bust point, which is also 10 inches for the back pattern. And also from the shoulder to the waist at the back, my measurement is 14.5 inches. Remember that when we were drafting the front pattern, shoulder to waist in front was 16 inches. Now shoulder to waist at the back is 14.5 inches. If you measure this separately on your body, you're going to actually notice that there is a difference. So as you can see, I just drew a straight line across and label it as the bust line and the waistline. So because of the difference between the shoulder to waist at the back and the shoulder to waist at the front, you can't just go ahead and draw the blouse length like that. So what you're going to do is, from this shoulder to waist in front, you're going to measure down to the hip line. So what I have here is 8 inches. So from this waistline at the back, I'm going to go ahead and mark that 8 inches here and draw a straight line across. So guys, if you do it like this, you will realize by the time we are done sewing everything and taking away the side out on the front pattern, everything actually becomes the same length, and you will notice that one is no longer than the other. So just like I did in front, on the shoulder line, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2 will give me 7.5 inches, and I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. After doing that, on the neckline again, I went in by 3 inches and then I come down by 1 inch for the neck depth. So the neckline for the back pattern is going to be higher. Now I'm going to connect the 2 points together to give me a very small neckline. After connecting the neckline, I'm going to connect a slant line from the shoulder line to meet that 1 inch point for the shoulder slope. So from the shoulder slope, I'm coming down by that 7.6 inches and then I made a point and rule a straight line to meet the shoulder slope. After this, I'm going to rule a straight line across and I'm going to label it as the chest line. So now I'm going to divide the measurements I have here into 2 equal halves and made a point. From this point, I'm going in by half of an inch, and on the chest line here, what you're going to do is to divide your bust measurement by 4 and made a point there. Now connect the 3 points together just like we did in front. The next thing I want to do is to draw out our dart, which will start from the chest line. So you're going to divide your nipple to nipple measurement into 2, and for me it is 3.5 inches. So I'm marking that 3.5 inches on the chest line, the bust line, the waistline, and on the hemline. And I'm going to use my straight ruler to create a straight line and connect all the points. On the waistline here, I'm going in by 0.75 on the both side. And then I will come down by 5 inches from the waistline. And from here, I'm going to connect all the points together. So just go ahead and do what you see me doing right now. So now I'm going to add all my body measurement to the back pattern. On the waistline, I'll replace the dart intake just like we did in front. Everything is exactly the same. Once you are through with this, just go ahead and cut it out. Now the zipper allowance on the end of the waistline, I'm going to go in by half of what I have here to avoid that bulginess that you normally have at the back after fixing your zipper. So I'm going to connect a straight line into the neckline and towards the end of the blouse. You will notice that I didn't add any stitching allowance to the side. I only add zipper allowance. So if you want to use this pattern, you can decide to place it on your fabric and add all the allowances you want to the side.
The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highway. And on we'll.
So this is basically all for the drafting of this pattern. When you put them together, you notice that one is longer than the other. The front pattern will look longer than the back pattern, but by the time we take in the side darts, everything is actually going to become the same. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and hit the subscribe button to get notified whenever I post a new video. See you in my next video. Bye.